Hey marketers, this is the Girls in Marketing podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We are so excited to get started with the episodes. Just before we do, we want to give you a little introduction to who we are and what we do. Girls in Marketing is an e-learning platform and online community. We are on a mission to bridge the digital skills gap and equalise gender seniority in marketing. Right, that's enough chat. Let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Girls in Marketing podcast. Today we're going to be chatting all about Christmas campaigns because if you can't tell already, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas everyone. Today we're in our Christmas jumpers. We've got our, what are these called?
Dealy bobbers.
Dealy bobbers on our heads. But mine's not. Mine is just a singular
Stable
headband. Christmas tree on my head. But yeah, very excited to talk about it. So I want to jump straight in. Let's talk about favourite Christmas campaigns because I feel like there's some really classic ones, some that kind of come out every year, some that, you know.
There's always some to look out for, isn't there? I think everyone, like, goes without saying, everyone looks out for the John Lewis one. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this year the Christmas adverts have come a bit later. I feel like normally they're a bit earlier. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like Christmas has like really come about quite early this year. I don't know whether that's just me, but I felt like it turned into November. I don't know, maybe that's just because I love to get into the festive
maybe
spirit,
it's because, Kira, you love Christmas and you can't wait for it to
And
come soon
I'm
enough. And Amy's kind of like a bit...
Yeah, I just felt like it
listening
came...
to Christmas songs in the office before Halloween and Martha was shouting at me.
And I also feel like as marketers, generally we are aware of Christmas before it's on most other people's radar because we're looking out for things like Christmas ads. So yeah, I felt like they'd come quite early, but maybe
And
not.
speaking of the John Lewis ad this year, what did we think? Thoughts, feelings, opinions?
I really enjoyed it, personally.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I'm like a bit so-so. I feel like John Lewis ads are like quite... They spend so much money on them. And I know that there's so much time and effort gone into them and there's no doubting that at all. But my biggest thing is like, is it just this big hype?
I was going to say, because it's almost like the hype is so much now that it's like, is whatever they do just going to like sit a bit flat with people because we're so used to like those early ones.
Yeah. Is it just that thing of we're waiting for the John Lewis advert? It's that sign of
the tone.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. And then when it comes, do we just convince ourselves that we like it every year, even if we don't? I mean, I'll be honest, there's been a couple of years for John Lewis that I wasn't too keen on. Was John Lewis the one with the little dragon thing a couple of years ago?
What was his name?
I think
Egbert?
so.
I don't know.
that was
Egbert.
cake.
Cuthbert the cake. But
Cuthbert
the
the
dragon,
cake.
I don't know, for me, it was cute. It wasn't really my vibe. I quite like this year's one. I like the underlying message. Doesn't really give me any hint of Christmas at all. Like it's not got that typical cheesy Christmas joy. But then equally, is that quite a nice thing? I don't know. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it is what it is. And as you say, a lot of money goes into it and there is a cause behind it. So it's
exactly.
It's nice.
I think the message stands strong, which is kind of what I look for in a Christmas ad. I don't necessarily need it to be all dealy boppers and all Christmas jumpers. I quite like it to be just that strong message of family, whatever that looks like. And I quite like the fact that kind of different retailers and advertisers are kind of going wider than just that nuclear family setup, and they're kind of exploring different types of families at Christmas and what that looks like. I know that Disney did that with their ad, The Stepdad, and that was one of my favourites. So I kind of do quite like that message, although you're right, it wasn't like Jingle Bells kind of vibe, but I still thought it was really important and I quite like it as a message.
Yeah. And I think that those non-traditional Christmas ones are really nice. I would say possibly my favourite one is Sainsbury's 2014. It was basically 100 years since the First World War of 1914 when the Germans and I think it was English, don't quote me on the facts or whatever, but they kind of came together. They played a game of football. So Sainsbury's kind of recreated it in a bit of more of a holiday spirit and stuff. And I think it was just so nice. Like, I remember that, and obviously that was 2014, so quite a few years ago now. And I can remember that playing. The first time it played, I was in my nana and granddad's, and I remember watching it, and I just thought, like, that's just so lovely. I've literally got goosebumps thinking about it now.
See, that's the sign of a good ad. Something that sticks with you like that and can make you feel like that even years later, 8 years on from watching it. That is a good sign.
But Sainsbury's do really good because wasn't it Sainsbury's that did the Christmas like children's production where they were all dressed as different things, and that little boy was dressed as a plug socket and went into the wall. Do you remember that? I'm sure that was Sainsbury's, and it cracked me up. But it's kind of nice that they can do both ends of the spectrum. They can do the, you know, serious, like historic moments, and then they can also just do like the fun and silly things that are going on.
Picking the right years where it's like appropriate to do them. But yeah, I think this year my personal favourite has to be Buddy the Elf with Asda. I just felt like that was just so good. And at first I did think, how have Asda managed to get Will Ferrell in an Asda store?
And how has he not aged? How does he look the same age still?
He looks amazing. He looks almost identical. And then it was identical. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I felt like the John Lewis one came after that one. So I don't know whether it was like, it's such a contrast of like Elf, Christmas, all good fun. And then it's like John Lewis with like an actual message. I don't know, do you guys prefer like a serious message behind a Christmas ad, or do you guys think like it's time for a bit of...
I think I definitely like both. There's been a lot of controversy with the Elf and Asda one, mainly because people are saying it's been overdone. Now, I would say Elf is up there with one of my favourite Christmas films.
Ditto.
Me too.
I've got to say, I don't agree. I'll probably get hate for this, but not a big Elf
The
fan.
Grinch is coming in. You are the Grinch and the jumper.
Favourite film. I love Christmas,
Christmas
but
jumper
I
with
don't
the
know what
Grinch
it is.
I feel
Elf
like
just doesn't do it for me.
You're either Elf
I
or the Grinch.
appreciate like the love for it, but it's just not a bit of me.
Yeah. And I think that like that is, even if you like it or you don't, it's just been overdone, like Elf, and people using Elf in ads. So it's like, why? I would be so interested to know why Asda have chosen like this year to do that.
And also, you said they released it before the John Lewis advert.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Interesting again, because I don't know if it's just in my head what I'm looking for, but I always feel like John Lewis are the first people to release the ads, and then everyone else follows suit. But maybe that's just the way that I'm like absorbing it rather than the actual timeline. But it would be interesting.
And that's how I feel as well. That's why it's kind of like, I wonder why John Lewis did kind of wait that little bit longer this year rather than being like the first in. Because I feel like Sainsbury's released theirs before John Lewis this year.
Maybe they just wanted to like build the hype up even more. Maybe they were just kind of like, we know this is going to slap and we want people to be on the edge of their seats waiting for it, possibly. I feel like for me, I do like a variety of different adverts. I've got to say, to be honest, since working in marketing, I do look for them more from the perspective of just knowing what's going on in the marketing world, what ads have come out, rather than just as a consumer watching them. I mean, I don't watch all that much TV, so generally I'll see the clips of them on socials, or I'll watch the ad on YouTube.
Rather than see them.
Yeah, I very rarely see them in full on TV. And I think that is kind of where a lot of them are headed more towards now, with far fewer people watching sort of like your satellite TV, you know, more people watching Netflix and things like that. They are becoming, you know, quite prominent on social media. I mean, a couple of years ago, I remember one of the John Lewis ads. I can't remember what the ad was, but I remember thinking it was quite good. But then I looked at how they'd portrayed it on their social media. And for example, I think it was on TikTok. They'd kind of just done like a landscape version on their TikTok. Like they hadn't like modified the format to make it appropriate for that type of social media channel. And you just think, spending so much money on producing such a, you know, an expensive, high quality ad that's been really thought through, to then just kind of slap that version onto TikTok. This year I have noticed that they have kind of done a social first version, but it's interesting to note. But yeah, I've got to say mine's got to be Coca-Cola every year. Holidays are coming. It's my signal that, you know, Christmas is on its way. Yeah. The Coca-Cola trucks when I was younger. I
was going to say, have you ever gone to a Coca-Cola truck? Because I've never done it.
Yeah, they've had them in Liverpool a few times. I remember being younger and being in town, and all the lights are on and the truck's there, and it's like, it's Christmas.
So exciting.
Yeah, so that's always the top of the thing for me.
Yeah. I feel like as well, Coca-Cola as a brand, like I feel like it's very Christmassy, even when it's not Christmas, because of like the whole red branding and everything like that. I feel like it's just like a really nice, the way they do the truck and the ads. I just love the way it all comes together. That I am a big fan of that as well. Yeah. But I remember Iceland did one a few years ago, and it was basically it was about palm oil. I don't know if you remember. So Iceland removed all all products with palm oil in their stores. So they did a Christmas ad that was around like palm oil and like how bad it is and everything like that. And it was obviously a Christmas ad, but it was also to show people that they were getting rid of palm oil in all the products.
Yeah, and didn't it have like a jungle theme? Wasn't there an orangutan in the thing? I remember a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is a bit too depressing for a Christmas ad." Like, I don't know if that message is right and stuff, but I think it was quite good because, let's be honest, if you're going to raise an important topic, what better way than your Christmas ad that everybody's going to see?
And it wasn't in a negative way either. Like, I know there have been Christmas ads before that have flopped, and there have been some that haven't done as well by certain brands, but that in particular stood out to me. And I know, Amy, you were saying as a marketer now, you kind of take note of ads and stuff, but actually the two that have stood out for me, the Iceland one and the Sainsbury's one, were not when I was a marketer. Like, it was when I was younger or like when I'd seen them. So I feel like now they maybe don't stand out as much to me.
Maybe that's why you've got that kind of fondness for them, because you weren't viewing them in any professional capacity. It was literally just like, oh, I like this ad.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I remember being at school and them showing that ad in like the Christmas assembly, the Sainsbury's ad, and I think they also shown the John Lewis one. Do you know, when it was like the man on the moon? I don't know what they were trying to prove by showing it, but I just have memories of being in the hall and watching it, and obviously I wasn't a marketer then. So interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Well, I hope you all have a lovely Christmas. Please feel free to share your favourite Christmas campaigns. We want to know some more, because obviously we're not all aware of all of the Christmas ads. So if you've got a favourite ads, definitely share it with us, and hopefully we'll see you around. Have a happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So if you enjoyed this episode and you love Christmas, make sure to join us in our membership. We've got lots of festive fun happening, including a members' Christmas party later this month. Super excited to hopefully see you soon.